and welcome back to another drawing with Trowbro. Today we're going to be looking at the surreal artist Salvador Dali. Now he's one of my favorite artists because his pictures are kind of crazy, but crazy in a good way. Surrealism is this word that kind of means it's like an out-of-body experience. It seems dreamlike, it's real, but it's also not real. And so you can kind of tell his most famous picture is like the one with melting clocks, but the one we're going to be looking at is these elephants that have super really long legs. I think it's super crazy. You can draw an elephant like me, or you could probably play around with different kind of animals if you wanted to, but it's super fun and it'll make people look twice at your artwork, and I think that's always a good thing to get some reactions from people looking at your artwork. So get your pencils ready and let's get started. Alright, so here on my left I have my Salvador Dali surrealist art. I got this elephant. It has like really long legs like stilts. It's almost very dreamlike. He's walking through this desert and the mountains in the background. The sun is rising. He's got this little floating building. And so I'm going to start by drawing my elephant's ear. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to draw what looks kind of like a normal ear. Okay? And then right beside it, I'm going to draw his tusk. Alright, so to do that, draw your typical tusk, like a long tooth. And then I end it, but then there's like a little curve on the top and the bottom. The reason why I did that is because now I'm going to draw his head, and when I go to curve around, his trunk is going to hit that part of the tusk. So it kind of goes down, and then you're going to stop when you get there, come down here, and keep it going. See how I did that? Then let's draw a little bit of a mouth, and then this goes and gets smaller, and then right here at the end you draw kind of like the end of a bone or a heart. It's like two little bitty hill shapes. Okay, it's looking nice. Now right above his tusk, little line going up, little line going down, and a little bit of a curve. I'm gonna fill that in. Looks nice. Now he's got this little bitty headdress that he's wearing, so I'm just gonna go do kind of a little curve right there, and there's little frills on it. Think kind of like a fancy rug. Obviously he's really far away, so you don't see all the little details. Now I'm gonna draw a stripe up here. This stripe's got a little pattern, so I'm gonna make it look kind of like a bunch of little squares. Okay, it's looking good so far. Okay, now let's go from his ear. I'm going to draw his back. Okay? If you want to, we can go ahead and draw his tail coming down. It's got a little poof there at the end. Okay, and then it kind of goes back up. So far so good. Alright, now let's go ahead and draw his really, really long legs. So starting here, I kind of make a triangle shape. It goes down a little bit past his tail. And then I'm going to make this little curve. It's kind of like his knees, like wherever his joints are. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side, draw that little bitty curve. And then I'm going to come back up, and his leg gets a little bit wider. Think like a chicken leg. Have you seen like a turkey leg? It's like kind of round. Same shape. So it's like skinny and kind of round, but we're not doing the whole round shape right there. Now, underneath his head, we're going to draw another turkey type shape, but remember not the curve. And draw his little knee. Okay, and then from here to here you can kind of make it. So if I did it right up here, it'd be really skinny. You do it down here and look like a pregnant elephant. So you kind of find like the middle ground and make a nice shape right there. Okay, and then let's go over here. I'm going to draw his other leg. So these two legs are on his right side, and he's got two other legs on the left. So this leg's going to be a little bit shorter. So what I do is I go down a little bit, and you want the curve to be up a little bit higher. Okay, and you do the same thing over here. This leg's coming down, and a little curve, goes up. Okay, looking good so far. This is where the fun begins. We get to make these legs a little bit longer, so it's kind of going in this direction. So we could go right, and then a little curve at the end. Same thing here, long line. And make sure that this curve right here is just a little bit higher. It's going to be a little bit higher. And then this goes down. Remember, this is a little bit longer. Curve, curve. Okay, this one's going forward. Curve, curve. Okay, almost done. Now I draw the really long part of his leg. I'm gonna do this one too, because they're both up front. Okay, and then this one's gonna be a little bit shorter. You don't have it go all the way down. Same thing was this. All right. Now let's go ahead and draw this little blanket on the back where the writers can sit. I'm drawing this one curved. This one kind of made it a square, but I don't know if I really like that design. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did up there, where I draw a skinny line, little stripe, and I get the little lines. Looks kind of like a ladder. Then I'm gonna add the little frills at the end. And then I kind of like these little, they're called pansies. It's a pansy design. They look kind of like bacteria. Maybe you've seen your dad or your grandpa with a pansy design tie. Looking good. All right, now let's draw that little floating house on top. So we're gonna start with, I guess, a straight line, and it's kind of floating above it. Then right here, I'm gonna draw a line going up. All right, kind of in the middle. And then I'm gonna go up straight, and then when I get it right about here, I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna go diagonal. And do the same thing over here. It goes up, and then diagonal. Okay? Then I'm gonna make a point right on the top, and then I connect those. And then kind of notice there's like that same pattern that I have, like that little yellow stripe. So I'm gonna do that at the bottom. Just draw a straight line, and then little vertical lines and a little sphere. Very dreamlike. Looks good. Now, let's draw a horizon line. Kind of make sure that it's above his feet. So right about there, just gonna draw it. Sometimes I use a ruler, but since this ground is rocky, it's uneven, I'm not gonna worry about using a ruler. So it's gonna go straight across. Ooh. All right, now let's do some mountains. And try to avoid just going like doing the typical zigzag. So I'm gonna do a couple little ones, and maybe kind of a bigger one. Okay, and then maybe this one goes up. It goes up, and then it's like two right next to each other. And it goes back down. And then maybe there's just a little bitty tiny one right here. And then it goes back up to medium one, but then right in front of the medium one is a big one. Maybe this one goes all the way down. And far away, we've got another little mountain range behind it. Alright, start at the bottom. Try to always mix it up. There's no patterns to mountains. They're kind of all random. So you want to make sure that you're trying to copy that randomness. Make it look a little more realistic. Okay, I think I'm pretty good. Looks nice. Now, for this, I used colored pencils to color it, but you could really use any kind of, you could use paint, you could use crowns. Oil pastel's a little bit hard because they're kind of fat, but something skinny. Colored pencils are good, but I'm gonna show you can just use crowns, make it look good. Let's see. Maybe I'm gonna use gray for my elephant. I used blue, but you know, sometimes elephants are gray. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use gray on this. It's really however you want to color it. I like those one crown boxes that have the sharpener, so you can like sharpen these a little bit. So you can get these really skinny areas. That's the nice thing about colored pencils, but colored pencils lead's super soft and it breaks all the time. Sometimes I push down too hard. All right, I don't know about you, but this is gonna take me probably a hot minute to color. So let's do a little time lapse and see what this looks like in the end. Go!
All right, and now I have my Salvador Dali elephant is all finished. He is standing tall on his stilts. This one is a little bit different than my first one, but you know, different can be good. It can be even great. But you know what? As I'm looking at my elephant, I think it's kind of hard to see him. So I'm gonna take my Sharpie and I'm going to trace over his legs and his body a little bit just to make it pop a little bit, so he doesn't just blend in with the background as much. And then with that said, I am all done and I have a beautiful work of surreal art.
Well, kiddos, I hope you had fun drawing some surreal art. It's always fun to play with your imagination and what you can do with a pencil. So I will see you next time on Drawing with Trowbro.